I'm Judy Zelina. This is the Millcreek Government Channel. Viewers, taxes, taxes, taxes. This is one of the two sure things in life that we can't escape. Come January, usually all of us are scrambling. It's time to prepare taxes. Who's going to prepare them? How are we going to prepare them? Where do we go to get our income tax done? Well, today on our show, we have someone here who is going to answer those questions for us. Joining us, we have Rick Godswa. Rick is an AARP Tax Aide volunteer, and he's also one of the technical coordinators for AARP. Yep. AARP actually is the nation's largest volunteer-run tax preparation and assistance service in the nation. So we are very fortunate to be able to have tax preparation right in our own backyard here in Erie County, actually right here in Northwest Pennsylvania.
That's correct. So
thank you, Rick, for joining us on the program today. First off, how did you come to become a volunteer? What's a little bit of your background?
After I retired from GE after 36 years there, and I just happened to be on the AARP website, and I saw a little box that said volunteer doing tax returns. I thought, well, I had done it before for myself. I've done it for a few friends and relatives, and I thought, how hard could it be to do tax returns? So I clicked on that box and I filled out the form. I ended up volunteering. So
the rest is history, and here you are.
Right. I started out doing tax returns just 1 day a week, and that soon became 2 days a week, and which turned into 3 days a week, and now I do returns 4 days a week during the season.
Funny how that happens.
Yes, right. Yes, sometimes I think I'm working longer hours and harder at this than I do when I worked.
When you work now that you're retired, right?
But it's enjoyable, and it's a free service, totally free. We can't accept any money, any tips, and it's nice to be able to do this for the people of Erie who really need the help. Some of the paid services are pretty expensive now.
Some of them are.
Yes.
But, you know, some of our viewers that are watching right now are going to say, this sounds great. Are there any type of qualifications? Who would qualify to be able to take advantage of this service?
Well, the service is for anybody of all ages. Even though it's AARP, you don't have to be a senior citizen to use it.
Okay.
So it's open to anybody of all ages.
All right.
And it's for low to moderate income levels.
Which would be considered what, Rick?
Well, the key word there is moderate. So, you know, to different people, moderate is different levels. We really don't have a cutoff.
Okay.
A lot of it depends on the circumstances, too. I do a return every year for a woman who is actually in a nursing home and paying the entire bill on her own out of out of the money that she's invested over a lifetime of working. So her income level might be considered pretty high, but when we get done doing all of her itemized deductions, and it's pretty low income at that point.
And plus, basically, looking at her situation, you know that she is someone who can really benefit from this program, because she's not going to be able to go out to a paid preparer or something like that. Another thing I wanted to ask is, are you just in Erie County?
Yes, basically just
right now. We're talking about right here in Erie County.
Yeah, we have a site down in Union City, in Harbor Creek, several in Millcreek, several of them in the city of Erie, Summit Township, Edinburgh. So, and it looks like we're going to be operating our northeast site. So, as of the conversation I had with a couple of people this afternoon. So, we thought that might have to be closed this year, but I think we're going to have that open again.
And the Millcreek site, the Millcreek Municipal Building, viewers, we have a site set up right there. Our days are every Monday and Friday. So, anybody right in that area too, you know, please take advantage of it. I wanted to mention too, when you say moderate income, what type of a return? What if I own a business? What if I have a lot of stocks and bonds and I've sold them and there's a lot of capital gains and everything? Is this what this service is set up for, someone like that?
We can do, of course, if you have a 1099-B statement from a brokerage, we can do those returns.
Okay.
We can do some business. We can't do a business return if it's a business that carries an inventory. If it's a business that has a loss, we're not allowed. That's out of scope for us.
Okay.
But we do quite a lot of people that are into crafts, and they make their crafts and they sell them at crafts fairs, and we've done returns for those. I've done a return for a woman who is a real estate agent and doesn't have a lot of income from it, but I always ask her if it's more of a hobby than an actual job for her. But she enjoys doing it, and so I do her return. I've done that for the last several years.
How long have you been doing this? How many years?
This is my 5th year.
Your 5th year.
Doing it. So.
And where do you usually where's your site that you prepare taxes? Or do they have you at numerous sites? Are you the reason they're doing Northeast this year?
No, I'm not the reason they're doing Northeast. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm at the Mercy Hilltop Center on Grandview. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, I'm at the Salvation Army on 11th and Liberty.
Oh, all right. Okay. Now, if I want to have my taxes done, do I need to have an appointment?
Most of the sites take it by appointments. You have to call in, make an appointment. We generally allow an hour to do a return. Okay. And every return has to be reviewed by a second person.
And that's something newer, isn't it? Something that they,
It's been in effect for some time, but they're really emphasizing it. They find that when we follow all of the rules that we're supposed to be doing, which includes this intake and interview sheet, which every client has to fill out when they come in, and then it's reviewed by the preparer, and it's also reviewed by the reviewer and the tax returns. We find that the accuracy rate increases greatly. When I say accuracy rate, obviously we can only prepare what the client brings in.
Exactly.
And some people kind of forget that they had an income. They kind of forget that, they won $600 in the lottery back, last March, and so they don't wait until they get those forms in the mail. They come in and want to get their returns done, and then they have to come back after and they say, oh, I just got this in the mail. So yeah,
that does happen.
This is one of the reasons why we have all the questions on the intake and interview, because sometimes it just jogs their memory and say, oh yeah, that's right, I did have that, or I won the daily at my local club that I belong to.
Rats. Yeah. I didn't think they would notice.
Yes.
And gosh darn, I have this paper here that tells me they remembered.
Yes.
You said you have different sites. How do I find out where the different sites are and one that would be closest to me?
The easiest way to do it is to go onto the AARP website, and they'll have a list there. And I also set up a email. People can contact me, and I'll send them a list of the sites. That's at aarperie@yahoo.com.
Okay, and that'll go directly to you. And if someone emails you and says, where am I supposed to go? And you'll be able to direct them to the closest site.
I also drop off a list every year when tax season comes up at the IRS office and also at the state office. Besides doing the federal return, we also do state returns. We do local returns, and we can also prepare the PA 1000, which is a property tax rent rebate form. That is
absolutely wonderful.
So yeah, it's just one-stop shopping.
And when our residents come in, or different ones come in for their appointments too, we remind them, unless it's changed this year, but I don't think it has, that you will file federal and state electronically.
Yes.
Will you do local electronically this year?
We can't do the local electronically.
I didn't think so. That would have to be mailed in. And also the rebates.
The rebates all has to be mailed in.
The property tax and rent rebate have to
Yes,
be mailed
yes.
in. Many people will call me and say, I didn't get my rebate. And they were under the assumption that since everything was electronically filed, that their rebate was. But you're going to have to remember that you are going to actually have to sign, put it in an envelope and mail.
Yes. Okay. I provide envelopes for them
right.
to mail them in.
Right, and just point out.
I tell them they have to put a stamp on it and put it in the mail. So.
Okay, Rick, I've set up my appointment. I'm going to come in and you guys are going to do my taxes.
Okay.
What do I need to bring?
Okay, the first thing you have to bring in is your photo ID. Okay. Okay, we have to check a photo ID. A copy of last year's return.
What if I can't find it? You prefer them to have it?
We prefer you to have it.
Right.
You know, some people, say, well, I moved and I can't find anything anymore. So,
or some people
some people just,
things, right.
are just, not as organized.
Yeah, but they do prefer. I know,
we prefer that you bring it in. And it's always good because we can always compare this year's return to last year's return. And sometimes there are things on last year's return that we don't have the information for. And so it gives us another, time to ask them. They say, well, last year you had the 1099 form from, ABC company, and I don't see that here. Do you still have that account?
So it's a nice check and balance for you, because if something's way off kilter this year from last year,
yes.
then you can ask them.
Yeah.
And maybe something did happen out of the ordinary.
Yeah, sometimes people close accounts.
Right, but you just never know.
Right.
Okay, so, all right, copy of last year's income tax return and my photo ID.
Okay, and then any 1095 statements that you get. 1095 is what you'll be getting from your health insurance. So if you have bought the insurance through the marketplace, you would be getting a 1095A statement. That has to be brought in. If you're getting it through a private insurer, you would get a 1095B.
Okay.
And if you have it through your employer, you would be getting a 1095C.
So everybody who has insurance is going to be getting some type of a 1095?
Yes.
Okay.
And so you should bring in those forms.
Okay.
Definitely if you bought it through the marketplace and you're getting an advanced premium credit, or if you decided not to get the advanced premium credit, then you could be getting, the credit added onto your income tax return. But we need to have that information in order to put it on the tax form.
All right. Okay. What else do I need?
Okay. All of the income statements.
Which consists of?
Your Social Security statement,
okay.
which already came out in the mail. I received mine a week ago. And your W-2s, your 1099-Rs, which would be from an IRA, pension, that type of thing. Any gambling winnings that you won, you need to bring those in. Interest statements, dividend statements. If you receive stock transactions through your broker, you need to bring in, which would be a 1099B statement. Generally, those don't go out into the 1099B statements generally don't go out into the mail until towards the end of February. Last year, I know there were some that were very late sending them out, and they were sending letters to all of their clients saying that they wouldn't get them until mid-March.
I remember that,
yeah.
Yes.
So also any unemployment statements. If you're receiving unemployment, you need to bring those in. Gambling winnings, and also a lot of people go to the casinos and they might win on one night when they were there, but the casino will also provide a statement of how much money you spent, so which could be deducted from your winnings.
Yeah, sorry, then you didn't win all that much, did you?
Right, yeah. I've had some people say they're afraid to get the statement because they don't want to know how much they spent to win $1,000. But it's entertainment for them. They enjoy doing it.
Right.
So But it is deductible. If you itemize deductions, it's deductible, and on the state, it's directly deductible. So you also have to pay state taxes on those gambling winnings, unless you won on the Pennsylvania lottery. Then you don't. But if you won on another state, and even if you were out in California a couple weeks ago and bought a Powerball ticket out in California, and you happened to win the 300-some million dollars, and that would be taxable in Pennsylvania also. So I know it's a burden for those three people that won that money, but
they got to pay those darn taxes.
Yeah. I wish
we're
I had
much better off that we don't have to pay those taxes.
Well, I wish I had that problem.
We would be here interviewing right now if it were you and I. Okay, so all of your income documentation. Is there anything else that they're going to need to?
And if you're applying for a property tax or rent rebate, you need to bring in either your rental statement. That would help if it's signed. And we have to have the property tax bill that is stamped that it's paid.
And it has to be stamped by the tax collector.
Right. Well, now, a lot of people just mail it in and they don't ask for a copy back. But you can call your local taxing authority and they will mail one to you.
Right.
So it's always nice to have that before you come in. That way everything's all set to go in the mail when you leave. Okay, talking about the rebate, say I'm eligible for a rent rebate. Yes. And I know how much my rent was every month. My rent was $500 a month. Can you fill out the rent certificate for me to take back to my landlord to sign? Yes, we can do that. Okay, you can do that because a lot of them, if they don't have the booklet, they aren't getting the booklets if they are being prepared from an outside source now. If you guys do it, then the odds are they aren't going to get their PA 1000, so they won't have a rent certificate. Yes. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys can fill that out and just have the landlord sign it and they can just attach it to it, correct? That's correct. Okay. So I didn't know if anything's changed. Right, and also the same way with the local taxes, they can tell if it's been prepared on a computer, and so you won't get the forms in the mail anymore. You just get a postcard telling you where to mail it to. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. Anything else? No, we just ask everybody to show up 15 minutes before their appointment time to fill out the intake and interview. Most of the sites have somebody that will be there to help them fill it out. And that's nice too, because we have some people that honestly, well, even me, if I look at something like that, it's like, whoa. Yeah, there's a lot of questions on it and it can be confusing. Holy cow, you want my firstborn here too. What are some of the questions? Okay, people are going to come. What are some of the questions that are going to be on that intake sheet that they're going to have to answer for you? Okay, well, it starts out just with the name and spouse's name, birth dates, any dependents. But the questions are, did you have income from wages or salary, tip income, scholarship, interest and dividends, refund of local or state taxes, alimony income, self-employment income, and it just goes on, unemployment compensation, and then expenses. Did you pay alimony? College, did you pay interest on a student loan? And so these are just some of the expenses. And then, of course, we have the questions here on the health saving, on the healthcare coverage. Okay. So that's added on to the tax now. So pretty much what you're going to be asking is something that it's a lot. It sounds like a lot of questions, but it's going to help make sure that their return is accurate. Yes, correct? Right. And the answer is you have boxes to check yes, no, and unsure. Okay. And we have people that'll read a question and they just say, I don't understand the question. Right. We just check unsure, and then when they sit down with the preparer, they can go over. And then they look at what they've brought, all the paperwork. They're able to figure it out. Yeah. Plus, by looking at their last year's income tax return, also. Yes, that's correct. You guys can figure an awful lot out. That's correct. Now. This program, and we talk because, of course, you are a volunteer, it depends on volunteers. That's correct. All right. Who can volunteer? Anybody can volunteer. So. Well, here's my question to you. Say I want to volunteer, and I'm going to volunteer and do income tax,
but I haven't done income tax. What type of training is going to be involved for me that I can sit down and do someone's income tax?
We have a very thorough training program. One of our other volunteers, she is actually a tax attorney, and she volunteers. I'm one of the trainers, and she's one of the other trainer, Stacy Krein.
That would be Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy is
right.
Millcreek site.
She works at the Millcreek site, and she does a very thorough training session, which usually starts in the beginning of October, and it runs for about 6 to 7 weeks. I kind of wish that she was there when I first started, because I had to learn a lot on my own. And
she's good.
And,
she's really good.
Yeah, she's very good with her training session. But even if somebody wanted to come in and volunteer, later in the year, we have had a few people, and we sit down with them, and I've sat down with them, more of a one-on-one, and go over all the forms and, how they have to be filled out. And so we have ongoing training, and even some of the people that have been in the program for 5-10 years, they come to some of our training sessions, and they just want to get refreshed because they haven't looked at this since last April.
That's right, and things change.
Things change.
Especially now with this health care coverage.
Right.
That's just another.
Yeah, I know. I said, there's a big controversy of whether you like the health care coverage or not, but
whether you do or not,
whether
it's there.
you do or not, it's there, and it has to be reported on your income tax.
And there's different areas for expertise. If I decide to want to be a volunteer, maybe I really am not going to be quite sure about doing numbers, but I like people, and I want to help in some way, being an intake.
Right. We have
an intake representative would be great.
Yeah, we have greeters, or as we call them, client facilitators, and they'll greet the people when they first come in.
I knew you had a title. I couldn't remember what it was.
Yes, we have them, go over the forms. We have some clients that come in and they say, "Oh, gee, I didn't bring my glasses," and they can't read the forms, so somebody has to sit down with them and ask them each question and fill it in for them.
That would be me. They're in the other purse.
Yes. So yes, we have client facilitators.
And so there's just different areas that somebody, can help out with.
Yes, there are.
So now, how can someone find out about this program? Either where to participate, or where to where they can call to volunteer. How can someone get a hold of AARP and help you guys out? Well,
you can always go onto the AARP website, and there's volunteer positions there. There's a number of different areas that they have volunteers for, but one is the AARP Tax Aide Foundation. An easier way in Erie to do it is just to email me at aarperie@yahoo.com.
Well,
and that'll come direct to me.
I'm just going to email you. Rick, that's what I'm doing. His name's Rick, and you have his email address. Rick, thank you so much for joining us and letting our viewers know just another one of the many wonderful programs that AARP does. I mean, there's so many that I host at the Township building. I've got the driver safety program. We do the income tax. We started with 1 day a week. Now we're 2 days a week because it's so popular. So, and I appreciate you volunteers.
I appreciate you.
You do a great job. I'll tell you one thing. You're absolutely wonderful to give up of your time. That's starting in January all the way through the middle of April. So
yeah, well, of course, like I said, we've actually been going on this since last August, getting prepared to do the tax classes, and
so it's like year round for these guys.
Yeah, and also I want to make sure that everybody knows that we are available year round.
Okay.
I know I had a client a couple of years ago, and she said, she realized that she missed something on her return, which would have gotten her a bigger refund, and she ended up going to somebody paid because she says, well, it was after, she didn't realize it until May. And I said, I could have done the amended return for you. I said, all you had to do was just call the Salvation Army, where we did her return, and they would have gotten hold of me. So.
Well,
So you could use that email address year-round, any tax questions.
and Rick would be
Yeah,
glad to put you in
right.
touch with someone, or even help himself.
And even if somebody's making some major decisions, financial decisions, it's always a good idea to talk to somebody to find out how it affects their taxes.
Great idea.
And I may not have the answers, but I could find out the answers for them. So a lot of times people want to take money out of an IRA and, you know,
They don't know
that-
how it's going
Right. So,
Okay.
so not realizing that it's going to affect their tax situation the following year.
Well, Rick, thank you so much. Our time is here at an end. Viewers, I just wanted you to be aware of the fact that we've got this great program right here in Millcreek, right here in Erie County, 12 different sites, I believe you said.
Yes.
12 different sites. They're on the AARP website. You can email Rick. You can give me a call. I'll be glad. I've got the listing of the sites. Or if you want to make an appointment at Millcreek, and I take the appointments for Asbury Methodist Church too. Great program. Take advantage of it. It's here for you. It's free of charge. Great volunteers like Rick are going to be helping you. So Rick, again, thank you for coming on. Let our viewers know about it.
Well, thank you for having me here today.
Okay. Viewers, check out the website, see if you want to make an appointment. Thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel. Until next time, have a wonderful day.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.